People are quitting Honkai Star Rail, and here's why. Okay, let's find out why. I quit it because it's pay to win trash. That's not why people are quitting. No one's quitting? Yeah, people, but he's referring to himself. What do you mean by people? I mean me. Okay.
Sups up everyone, so it has already started happening. Honkai's numbers, just like any other game that has been released in history, is starting to dwindle, and the very recognizable pattern of pretty much losing half of their player base and give or take a little more or less, a lot of people are gone since 1.0, and this is to be expected. Like I just previously mentioned, I have friends in real life who never even made it past the first week of the game. That is
I'd like to bring something up here. Honkai Star Rail, when did it come out? I guess it probably came out in, I think 17th of February was like the, was it April? Yeah, it was April, right? It was probably March, right? Yeah, it was March. It was the 3rd of March. So let's look at the 3rd of April. The 3rd of April, they had already lost over half the amount of people that were playing the game. This is not an indictment of the quality of a game. This is just the way that games work, because people play the content and then they stop playing the content until there's new content. In Elden Ring, all of those people, or at least a lot of them, are going to be back for Shadow of the Erdtree. And also, a lot of those people didn't even kill Margit. Like, what's the percentage achievement? How many people killed Margit? Does anybody just like remember like how many there were? Like percentage, like 40% of people killed Margit. It's something like extremely low. Yeah, 30, 40%. So like these people didn't even really play the game hardly.
completely fine. I think it's a healthy sign for a game to be losing players. It means that a lot of the people who kind of was chasing a fad are now weeded out, and a lot of the opinions that would have otherwise flooded the community ultimately not really amount to anything, but could have influenced the game in a direction that is not welcomed by the remaining players of Honkai Star Rail. So why is there a need to make this video? Well, there's a need to make this video because I've been looking at the differences and the similarities between Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Now, some things did surprise me, while others...
I think it's important that, like, I mean, it's important to know why somebody quits playing the game after an hour. Because, like, there's a lot of people that are going to play the game for an hour. And so if somebody bounces off something like that in an hour, I wonder, like, why that is. Like, I bet... You know, if you take the amount of people that play and buy Diablo 4 and play it, I bet there's probably a higher completion rate of the campaign of sorcerers versus druids. Because it just sucks to play a druid more than a sorcerer.
Were to be expected, such as this huge dip in player base. I have been thinking about making this video for a little while, and there are some key things I want to focus in on, especially as to how the future of Honkai Star Rail as it differs also from Genshin Impact. So on the screen you may find a graph right now showcasing the similarities. Well, you can see how they both spike extremely hard. Now this is the thing that really caught me off guard. The fact that Honkai Star Rail has similar success to Genshin Impact. Now, to put that into perspective, right? Genshin...
It's because you can be fucking garbage at video games and play Honkai Star Rail. So it's way more accessible. There's the beginning of the graph, by the way. Like, you can be brain dead garbage. Like, I'm gonna be real, okay? I'm gonna just say it how it is. And I don't want to admit this, but I'm gonna admit this. I hit Trailblazer level 60 in Honkai Star Rail, and I did my equilibrium, and I couldn't autoplay it. And for a minute there, I forgot how to play the game. I'm sorry, but there it is. I forgot how to play the game.
Back in 2020 had very little competition. I would even say no competition with the quality that they were dishing out and the niche that they were diving into. Honkai Star Rail actually has surprisingly more competition, even in this space, the anime turn-based RPG game, than Genshin Impact. And
well, also Honkai Star Rail's competition is Genshin Impact. Like, I would bet that a lot of the people that played Genshin Impact tried out Honkai Star Rail. Like, I would assume that to be normal. Like, of course, right? It's the same as, like, a lot of people from New World went and they tried Lost Ark whenever it came out because it's an Amazon game, and AGS made that game too. It's the same as, you know, like I bet a lot of World of Warcraft players, like, let me see on my Battle.net, I don't have it open right now, but like all my Battle.net of like all of my friends that I made in WoW, they're all on Diablo right now. That's normal. It's fine. It's good. It's an ecosystem. It's the same as classic WoW and retail WoW.
Even then, there's a lot of people who gave this game a try. Now, yes, as you guys see, the huge dip does follow soon after as well. It's not like Honkai is going to stay this popular forever. And also, don't let the similarities and the trajectory of the graph fool you. If you observe the chart a little more carefully, it's evident that the traction of Honkai has fallen more than Genshin from its initial big rise. In fact, hovering over...
No, it hasn't. It actually hasn't. The reason why he thinks that is he's measuring... This has a higher peak. Like, I mean, maybe it's a little bit less, but like not really. It's not by a measurable degree. I would say like 5%. I would say like with something like 5%, especially using like a third party like attention measurement tool like Google, there's probably a 5% error rate for this.
For the mouse, Honkai currently has a rating of 27, whatever that means. And when Genshin had their first dip, they were hovering around 40. And that's almost a 100% difference. Almost, right? Give or take. It's like around like 80% difference, which is huge in terms of relevancy. Now, we don't have enough data, but I would want to argue that Honkai will continue to level off like Genshin did. And with the release of new regions and stories, and of course, our beloved characters, the game will continue to do well. However, now we have to talk about some of the biggest differences between Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. Honkai Star Rail is a turn-based RPG game with an auto-play feature. Now,
here's another big problem with Honkai Star Rail, is that there aren't a lot of like little things to go out and do in the game in the same way that there is with Genshin, to my understanding. I feel like whenever I'm talking to people about playing Genshin, there are way more secondary activities to do in the game. Whereas in Honkai Star Rail, like, what are you going to do? Like, even if you max out your Trailblazer or your fucking, like, Trailblazer power or whatever the fuck it is, like, you're looking at about 30 minutes to an hour's worth of gameplay. Now, there are some people like Tectone that go through and they kill every single mob in the game every single day. And that gives them all of the resources and stuff like that in order to keep upgrading their characters. But that's not really gameplay. That's not interesting. It's just running around and one-shotting mobs. It's like super fucking boring. It's boring fine chess content? Yes, but like fine chess content is still better than no content. So like I would say that I could, like, if you really, really liked Honkai Star Rail, like, whenever I was playing at the beginning, I was enjoying the game a lot, and I was always looking for more things to do, and I couldn't find them.
Cannot stress this enough. Most of the time I'm playing Honkai, I'm not actually playing the game.
I
have the game on, playing itself, and I'm actually doing something else with the...
Yeah, that's exactly for me. Like, I do the exact same thing.
Exception of me challenging the Memory of Chaos. Now, here's the thing about Memory of Chaos. If you can't beat it, there's a very high likelihood that you're not going to be beating it in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes. Oftentimes, it's a lack of stats, lack of synergy, lack of counters, which is not something that you can make up for in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Why am I saying this? It means that if you run into a wall in the Memory of Chaos, chances are you're not going to be surpassing that for weeks, if not months, right? Depending on if you need a character, you need to level up your characters, or you need to level up your traces, or get better relics. All of these things take time. And the process...
Yeah, the amount of things that you need to farm in the game is extremely high. It's like it's crazy high. Like, you have to farm out, obviously, the upgrade tokens for your traces. You have to farm out the experience to level up the character. You have to farm out the experience to level up the light cone. You have to farm out, and all of these take credits as well. You have to farm out the secondary resource that's based off of the area the character is from. So like the Zufu shit, and then like the Bellabog stuff as well. Then you also have to farm, there's like one more thing. Oh yeah, the high level trace upgrades as well. It's a lot of fucking stuff just to play something new. And then you need the relics. And guess what you need to do with the relics? Well, you need to upgrade those too. And there's an opportunity cost for doing each one of these, because then you're not doing the other one. Because they all consume the same resource. So you have to like decide, are you going to farm relics today, or are you going to farm like the arrowheads for Seal, or the fucking the ice things for Gepardo.
Says of getting those things is automated for the majority of them, right? So most of the time you're not really playing the game, and a lot of you guys have pretty much caught up to the story, although I'm not going to really talk about it, so don't worry about spoilers. So there's not a new storyline for people to follow through with in this current patch. Now, I don't know about patch 1.2, but a lot of people have their eyes dead set on characters over the other contents of the game. This is another major reason why I'm slightly concerned for the game's longevity. In a video that was made by Vars, he highlighted that when it comes to hardcore turn-based RPG players, which I would imagine a lot of them did decide to stay, right? When people usually quit games en masse, it's the casual players who are hopping from game to game, checking things out, trend chasers. They were never really going to stay.
People play the game for day 1 or day 2 and then they stop playing it. I've done that with tons of games before.
And be committed to the cause and intricacies of the game. The people who are a little more tryhard, people who have invested both time and potentially money into the game, likely cares a little more about how the game is played and the inner workings of it. So Vars himself said he was an avid turn-based RPG lover, and the design for Honkai Star Rail just isn't complex enough to keep someone like him to stay engaged with the combat system. It's far too simplified, and HoYoverse's attempt to reach as many players as they possibly can now seemingly will backfire in the long run. The entire crutch of this game is its
I don't think it's gonna matter. Like, the game doesn't need to have like a crazy level of complexity.
Turn-based RPG, and most of it is automated as well as non-complex, even when you're piloting it yourself. So unless HoYoverse comes up with new mechanics to keep endgame players or players who desire a more complex system satisfied, we could see those players eventually trickling away as well, which leads me to wonder, where is the core player base situated? Is there no other anime-based RPG game available for them to play so that they have to
Well, this is the hot new anime RPG game right now. This is it. If you like playing anime RPG games, this is it right now. Now, whenever the new fucking Genshin game is going to come out, or the new Genshin patch is going to come out, then people are going to move over to that. Blue Protocol is in Japan only. So, like, that's not part of our culture. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there. But, like, also, Blue Protocol doesn't have the exact same anime vibe as this, but I think that most people will move over and try that instead. You've got games like Wuthering Waves as well. Recently, they brought out the game that developer made before then, Punishing Gray Raven, to, I think, PC. This is maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago. So, like, you could say maybe there's that. And then there's Zenith, Zenless Zero, or the fuck it's called. But that's not even out, like, for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, this is the new, fresh game that people are playing. Wuthering Waves is completely dead. Well, that's because the game is... I probably should talk about that. I there's a lot to talk about with that game.
Play a game like Honkai Star Rail. How many people are still first-time turn-based RPG players who are still waiting for their waifus or husbandos to come out before they give the game a final verdict? You guys got to remember that looking at Genshin's chart, when Genshin was at its peak, there was little alternative. Right now, there are plenty of alternative games that have actually came out since Genshin's success. Now, I'm not going to comment on how good or bad those games are, but the fact that you have other options now should be a terrifying thought for HoYoverse to up their game. And one of the reasons why a lot of Honkai's optimizations and integrated systems have been very well polished, and an upgrade from Genshin Impact should show you how much HoYoverse cares about satisfying the general player base. Now, again, I keep emphasizing the general player base, right? The masses. Why?
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about the people that are playing the game and they're like like I looked at my friend requests in Honkai Star Rail. So Imaru wanted to add me in Honkai Star Rail, and like I didn't even know how to add a friend in that game at all. And then after she wanted to add me, she's like, so can you put your Jinyuan or like your seal on like the thing there, and so I can use it? And I'm like, yeah, sure, which one do you want? And then she's like, well, I want to use the Jinyuan because I have like mine maxed out. And she's like, oh, it's level 70 and I'm able to use it and I'm level 26. How the fuck are, like, well, number one, how is that even able to fucking happen? But number two, like, now I leveled it up to 80. It's even better now. And anyway, most people that are playing are not like level 64 or 65. They're like level 40 or 30 or 50.
Is that it's because Hoyoverse has found out that it's better to have their game appeal to the masses as opposed to appeal to a niche group of people.
And this is why Tectone spent like 2 years losing his hair over Genshin Impact. Is because Genshin Impact is made for casual girl gamers. There aren't a lot of really, really hard content things in the game. There's not this like ass-clenching raid that you need 39 other people for, and it's a fucking demon with a sword that's made of skeletons. That's it.
When you appeal to a larger sample size of a player base, there's just a likelihood of some people maybe spending an extra $5 or an extra $15 for your monthly pass and your BP. So I'm willing to bet that a large amount of Hoyoverse's actual income in the first month are players who were dedicated and wanted to grind out the game. Now, very few of these players were among those who quit, but there are definitely people who came in who could spare, let's say, the $20 for the first month and have been like, not my thing, and quit, right? Some people are just ballers. They come in with like hundreds of thousands of dollars in budget and spending, and they give the game a try. It's not their thing. They move on. But
they just spend $100,000 on the game. They play it for a month, and then they're done. They're on to the next one. Look, they're busy. They got other shit to do.
Vast majority of people who did spend and invest into the game probably are still playing the game. But you see, here's the question to you guys as well as to Hoyoverse. How long are they going to continue playing the game and spend at this rate? A lot of players that I know from Genshin Impact have since stopped spending, myself included. I've skipped 5-star characters, 4-star characters, as I just don't see any point in building.
I didn't really do Silver Wolf, and the reason why is that, like, I really only do the spends for content, and people weren't as excited about her. So, like, I didn't really give a fuck that much. So, like, maybe I'll do, like, one on, like, the last 2 days just to, like, have the character. That's really what it's about.
Those characters anymore.
Yeah, her boobs aren't big enough, so what's the point?
Both games does not incentivize group play. There are co-op features or systems in place, whereas in Honkai Star Rail, you can have a buddy accompany you in certain combat runs, and Genshin Impact, you can visit people's world and have them visit yours. But it really isn't developed to make you feel like you're a part of a bigger community unless you go online. And this isolation in a live service game where you're playing on auto for 90% of the time, I'm saying
you definitely need a way to interact with other players in this game. Because I definitely agree with this. I think it would be really cool if you could interact with other players. I don't think that should mean duel. I don't think they should add duels into the game. I actually don't think so. This is a casual game made for casual gamers. I just think that they should have like a little place that you can go to and you can like sit down at a table and have tea and you can do emotes and you can see the other person's emotes. That's it. Nothing more. Yeah, you can hold hands. Imagine if you could do that and they could have Branya and Seal holding hands. People would fucking go apeshit over that.
I think 90%, I think, is probably even higher than that once you get to late game. Right? Once your characters are level 80, for those who are Trailblaze level 60 and above, your characters are built, you're just farming materials every day, and you probably get to only play the game for 10 minutes a day. You are already at Genshin.
Bold of you to use the word play.
Endgame, right? People are starting to slowly push Memory of Chaos, running into a wall, realize they have to go back, level up all their other characters, supports, whatnot, to level 80 as well, along with the light count, and you're just farming day in, day out with no new story quests, no ways to interact with other players, right? No huge global size events that incentivize you to play more. So Hoyoverse designed another side game, which I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. It's just in this topic that we're talking about the longevity of Honkai Star Rail, a title like Zenless Zone Zero is on the horizon. A title like Wuthering Waves is also coming in the near future. How competitive is Honkai Star Rail going to be once those titles hit the market? That's
people are just going to go and play the game that's recently been updated. That's what they're going to do. So whenever there's an update for Genshin, they're going to play that. Whenever there's an update for Star Rail, they're going to play that. Whenever there's an update for one of these other games, they're going to play that.
That's really the question that I'm asking. And in my honest opinion, it doesn't look too hot for this game, right? Whilst a core community will start to form, I do think the vast majority of people will start to migrate away and into new titles, mainly because Star Rail just doesn't have the charm of a complex turn-based RPG game, nor does it have the incredible casual aspect of, let's say, a Pokemon game, a single player casual turn-based game either. It floats in between these two realms and kind of in this purgatory realm of, well, there's a lot of money you can sink into this game, but everything is single player, so there's really no real reason for you to drop thousands of dollars apart from the fact that you just really want to do it yourself, or you have no self control and you kind of
there you go. There are some people, man, that have spent a bunch of fucking money on this game. I don't know how the hell they can do that. That is nuts. Like, I can see doing it if you're streaming it for sure, but like some people just do it for free. It's because they don't win like me. It's actually so sad. It is so sad. So some people, bro, like, remember how I just got like every light cone maxed out on 5-star? And like I got every character I wanted just by just doing the spins at the right time. Yeah, some people that doesn't happen for them. I was insane on Lightcone. It was normal for me. That's how it always goes.
Fallen into this money.
I heard Imru told me she spent like $800 on Silverwolf and she only got like 3 or 4 of them. Bro, I would have had like 10.
Pit that Hoyoverse has created, and a lot of people have also mentioned that Hoyoverse likely will just default back to what they did with Genshin Impact, saying Memory of Chaos and Simulating Universe is all you're gonna get till the server close. Pretty much with what Genshin has, no new content that's combat based will ever come to Genshin Impact, and Hoyoverse is doing the exact same for Honkai Star Rail as they see a huge success initially, and as long as they can level off and keep the game where it is currently, they will be happy raking in hundreds of millions per game. And
I think also like this is a factor that probably affected a lot of high-end players. Is I remember looking at the Luocha the character demo and just how completely and fucking obviously power crept he is. The fact that he's just like better than, like, as far as I know, any other healer. So it's like people see that and they're like, well, fuck, what am I doing playing the game now until this guy comes out? He's going to be way better than everybody else. Best healer. Yeah, he's going to be fucking disgusting. Yep, I stopped leveling Natasha. Yeah, exactly. And so that's what's going to affect more high-end players. This is why I don't play the mobile weeb games, because my children need to eat. Well, no, you don't understand. These are your children.
Maybe once Zenless Zone Zero comes out, they can take all the hardcore and people who want to grind and push them more towards that game. So then they kind of have 2 casual side games and then one maybe, like I said, maybe hardcore game for people to sink their teeth into. And this way, again, they can maximize the reach they have on the market. Honkai Star Rail, I think, is just going to be one of those titles that hovers in the background in the future. I really don't think this game is going to be revolutionary, both in the mechanics of turn-based games nor the casual aspect, like again, Pokemon is a turn-based game. I just don't think it's quite there yet. But what are your thoughts? Do you think Honkai Star Rail will stand the test of time once newer titles comes out? Or do you guys think that it's going to fade and become a less talked about niche game? With that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, urge you all to stay safe. Peace, peace. Bye-bye.
I think it's also a matter of like how much do they want to invest into the game and into marketing the game. If they want to invest a lot more money into marketing the game and making it more popular and, you know, like getting streamers to play the game, doing drops for the game. Like, let me see how the how Honkai Star Rail is doing on Twitch right now. So it's only got 4,000 viewers. I mean, maybe they still have drops. I don't know, like, even really if there's like anything else really to see. It's 3 a.m. Well, I'm just comparing it to other streams, right? I'm not saying that like it's a dead game, but it's a lot lower than it was. Like, it used to have like 20 to 30k consistent watchers, and now it has a lot less. But it does still have more than Genshin Impact, you know, to compare it with that. And the only other anime game that's ahead of that is Blue Protocol, which is, again, only in Japanese. And so it looks like actually Blue Protocol is eating pretty good. They're doing pretty fucking well. That's great, because they don't even have drops or anything. It's because I streamed it? Well, no, I mean, I streamed it for a while, but, like, even after I streamed it, there were a lot of other people that watched it. Yeah, I mean, it was a popular section that a lot of people were watching. I mean, it's not crazy, is it? Let's see here. I'll go ahead and I'll link you guys this video. I figured I'd take a look at it. I thought it'd be interesting to watch and see what people have to say about it. But yeah, I think that also like showing characters that obviously power creep existing characters is demoralizing. Also, a lot of people are probably waiting to do spins for like Kafka or like maybe some other character like Luocha that they think is going to be really good. So you have like a lot of people doing it for that reason. Let's see. For me, I actually like the events a lot. I don't really give a fuck about the events. Let's see. Accurate assessment of what's going on. Still enjoying the game. It's a good point about weeding out the folks that are just chasing a fad. Well, I think that it's important to find out why they leave anyway. The disappointment is the filler patch after the release patch. I was expecting continuation of the story. Yeah, people get very attached to the characters, and they care a lot more about the characters. Because this game, it doesn't really have like any sort of like really... Like, every time that I've watched Genshin Impact combat, it's extremely well polished, and it's action combat. So, like, that in itself has a value that expands beyond what Honkai Star Rail has, which is, it has great, very fine-tuned, like, clean combat, right? It's not buggy or bad, but it is turn-based auto battle combat. And you can only go so far with that. So obviously Genshin's going to have way more of a scope to it as well, because you have a whole open world to explore with Genshin. With Honkai Star Rail, you have like, you know, like 25 different maps, 20 different maps. They're not that, there's not that many of them. And also like getting the chests in Honkai Star Rail, there's not really a lot of decisions that you have to make. It's not really that hard to do. You just run around and do it for a few hours. The maps are kind of boring. Yeah, it's not super engaging. And there's only a few of the different little puzzles. Like, you've got the Rubik's Cube puzzle. You've got the sundial puzzle. You've got the connector puzzle with, like, making the snowflake type things. There's no jump button. Yeah, you can't jump. And those puzzles, oh, the minecart puzzle. Like, you've got a few of them. They're nice. And, like, those are great. But there's just not enough. There's not enough to keep a person who's really enjoying the game hooked in the game. Like, I feel myself whenever I was playing it and I was, like, really enjoying it, I was always thinking, what else can I do? Like, what is there to do in the game? Like, I want to play more content. I want to do more stuff in the game. And there wasn't enough of that stuff to do. So I think that's something that'll be added over time. And that's fine. Games as a service should be played once in a while. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need to be engaging forever. But it would be nice if there was more to do than like 30 minutes of dailies, if that, unless you want to go around and systematically kill every single, like, elite mob. Like, or not elite mob, like, random mob. Like, that's really fucking boring. Like, let's be honest.